Hello, beautiful one. Welcome to this podcast episode where I'm going to share a very in-depth description, very in-depth layout of how the energetic dynamics that are happening in the 3D, in the matrix, and also we're going to talk about narcissistic abusive relationships, and I will know very, very shortly why, and how the energies are attaching to you, to your system, and are preventing you from stepping into your soul purpose, into your destiny, into your God-given path. Let's call it like that. And okay, before I'm feeling guided to share this for whatever reason that may be very significant for someone. Today I wasn't going to share an episode. It's a very rainy day outside. It's just everything screams rest and rejuvenation, and I personally really needed that. But when you are stepping into a life of service, you are, in a way, you are giving away many things that your ego was used to. And today we're going to talk about that. Today we're going to talk about the difference between living in autopilot, which actually is simply the result of living an unconscious life, living life unconsciously, based on the trauma, based on reactiveness, based on how your family programmed you, how society programmed you, and living in the freedom of we can call it God's kingdom, but to rejoice in that way of being, which we can call it also 5D, in the new earth. There are many just ways in which you can relate to ascension. Yes, we talk about the new earth. Yes, we talk about the 5D. Yes, we talk about soul alignment. We talk about God's kingdom. However you want to call it. It's choosing. It all boils down. It all comes down to choosing to one simple thing, one simple choice. Choosing your soul, which is God's path, versus ego. And the ego is the sum of... The ego is mostly the mind. The ego is a combination of your past experiences, of conditioning, and everything that keeps you attached to the old earth, to your old identity, to trauma, to wounds, and that makes you identify with a version of you that your soul has outgrown long ago. I mean, not even your soul, it's like you as a person, as an individual. It's time to release all that. It's time to peel back the layers and to find your truth. But how do you do that when there are all these influences around you that have their own agendas, and they're trying to keep you stuck? Now, the reason why I'm sharing this episode today, despite my need for comfort, it is because I know it is going to be of value, and I know that it's not an easy conversation. It simply isn't. it's not as obvious, because if it was, we would all be living in freedom. We would all be running on an open field, and with the sun behind us and the wind just blowing in our hair, and we would be singing and joyfully just living life. But it's the reason why things aren't so straightforward. It is because there is an active agenda that is preventing you from doing so. And unless you become acutely aware, and unless you are very, very clear on the energetic dynamics that's happening, you're going to be if you invest into appearances and into the 3D world as being a certain way, you can be very easily manipulated, controlled, and just kept stuck in external agendas that are not your path, your soul's path. So the reason why I talk about the energetics behind is because humans are not just humans. We need to look at the kind of energies that people embody. We need to look at the kind of deeper agendas that a company has, for example, a community. This is the difference between a cult, as a spiritually dark agenda, or a pure spiritual community that is actually humanitarian. We need to see if we need to look behind people's intentions and people's energy, frequency. And a lot of us have been going through trials, tests, very difficult experiences in which we were faced with just seeing the truth behind people. It's because the only way that you can ascend into the new earth and really align with the 5D frequency is when you start discerning what is of lower vibration and what is not. If you start seeing behind the appearances and behind the illusions of the matrix, that is how you ascend, year one. The reason why this podcast is we talk about raw, real life stuff. Okay, it's not a kind of topic that you can just listen to chill. But because I believe that this is the biggest gift that I can give anyone, is the truth. And it's when you start living in service, it means that you give up on a lot. Actually, you give up on the need to be pleased, loved by others. You give up on you may give up on people who disagree with you. You give up on just followers who are uncomfortable with hearing this. But so long you're in alignment with your soul, this is really the only freaking thing you need. Because you will realize when you are so close to God, so close to the light, you will realize that all the things you were trying to surround yourself with are really illusions. Because the closer you are to the light, the more things will be exposed to you, and you realize, like, oh my gosh, I actually having people's approval, it's just, I don't need that. I'm free. You gotta be free from the need to be anything other than who you really are. And when you're close to God, you don't need anything else. You really don't. And you will reach a point where you will only pray for people who are free as well. This is I used to be, by the way, if you're, it's, again, I repeat, we gotta look behind people. And if you are still attached to like a particular person or a particular thing or a particular environment, or gotta look deeper than that. You gotta start praying for the kind of energies that you want in your life. And personally, I've started praying for people who are free. That's the only thing I want to surround myself with, whether that is clients. And I know that I can help and work with many people, but I asked for people who want freedom, who want to be free, who are willing to do the work, who are willing to really, really put the bullshit behind and just really step into their most authentic self. I do not want to sugarcoat anything. I want results, and I want results. I want to see people free. I want to see people thriving, and that's really the only thing I want to surround myself with from this point forward. That's been a major shift in my life. So I want to talk about the way in which the devil wants to take dominion over the 3D. So it has already really, very well succeeded with the AI agenda. We're not going to dive deeper into that. I mean, it's a long topic, and I also don't feel guided or called to share more about it. I mean, it's just there. I'm not part of it. But it's through perceived benefits. So let's talk about perceived benefits. And I want to make a parallel because it's going to be different for many of you. I want to split the collective into two different categories. So we're going to have those of you who are mostly in your feminine energy, and you resonate with being close to Mary Magdalene, divine feminine, etc. Those of you who have been embodying the feminine energy, you have been under the persecution template that you came here to clear. So the persecution template is basically survival. It's being under attack, under constant attack from jealousy, from the dark feminine, from the matrix, because your survival was in danger, was under threat constantly. And your system has been weakened. Your masculine energy has been weakened. Because you have been under so much trauma and attack, you have been, your masculine energy was very, very afraid, was very scared, and it was running the show, meaning you were taking decisions that were based on fear. So you may have been, in the system because you don't believe, which we're going to talk about why it's totally legitimate for you to do so. You don't believe that you can earn a living with your gifts. First of all, you don't feel safe in expressing your gifts and in sharing your true self with the world because of all the trauma and all the attack. I repeat, a lot of it has to do with jealousy. I have personally been under really heavy traumatic experiences with especially the feminine, the dark feminine, who was just so threatened by my light. And that was in, relationships with, because the 3D agenda is about competition, is about, fighting for a man, fighting for a job, fighting for reputation. So obviously, if you're such a valuable individual, I'm not talking like ego, false confidence. I'm talking about when you know who the frick you are, when when you start seeing yourself through the eyes of God, no one can lower your self-worth. No freaking one. And it takes a lot of work, dear ones, to get there. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of undoing what everyone else told you about yourself, and what they how they put you down, and how they made you see yourself. But this is what you came here to do. You came here to see who you are in the eyes of God, to see yourself, to see your soul, to honor your soul above anything else. And it will come with trials. It will come with situations in which you will really be faced with false illusions versus your soul. And choosing your soul will not seem like the easiest path, because you will have to face the unknown, because you will have to maybe walk alone. I'm gonna give a very quick example. I didn't want to share this until it was not concrete, like until I did not sign the papers. But just very shortly, lately I have been faced with an opportunity, with an amazing opportunity, by the way, the most shiniest job opportunity that I could possibly be faced with. I don't want to go into details, but it's something that I was guided to do. And I was actually wondering, like, why would you? Like, I know what my purpose is. I know what my path is. Like, I'm so on it. Why would God put me on this situation? Well, now I know. It was just to remind me of how toxic the Matrix is, and also to heal. Because I've been, for 10 years, I've been, in the system. I've been working as an engineer. I have finished a top university in France, and I really sacrificed just a lot, my creativity, my spiritual gifts, to be in that rigid system that, even though it provided me with a lot of understanding of how the world works, and a lot of just beautiful knowledge, and I'm very grateful, and experiences, and gosh, it was meant to be. But all along, I just sacrificed who I was, and I was being brought back to that moment, and this time I had to make a different choice. And the reason why I'm saying it's not obvious, and I even shared a devil's code, saying that the Matrix is going to look the shiniest right now. The Jezebels in your life are going to look the shiniest. They're going to put their best outfits and their best masks and faces. Because it's, the higher the level, the higher the tests. And so for me, that job really represented everything I would wished for. Gosh, I would have lived in one of the most beautiful places in the freaking world. Pay was good, very good. Co-workers, the environment was amazing, smart people, just amazing technology. Gosh, the project was one that I would have loved to work on. Just everything, like just put everything that I thought I would have wanted, it was there. Office facing both the mountains and the sea. You name it. Flexible work hours, just benefit over benefit over benefit over benefit. And I was like, okay, maybe I can, I'm interested. And I like engineering. There's nothing, I love just smart people. And it was an environment that I was, interested in. And I said, okay, maybe I can juggle both. But then I realized that I would have to sacrifice so much. First of all, my time and my precious life force. Second, I personally just cannot be in a box. I cannot have work schedule. I cannot also not share my spiritual gifts for many hours a day. And for as amazing as those benefits were, there was just one that was waiting more than anything, and that was my soul and my freedom. And this is what, for those of you who are, okay, so let's talk about the other, so let's finish this conversation. So, the matrix or the opponents are going to come with either a very shiny image, or they're going to use fear. By the way, it happened both. Or they're going to use fear to have you stay in the 3D, to have you stay looping in the matrix. So because your system was so under attack for so long, maybe your trauma response will be to give in and to just say, oh my God, well, I have to be there. Or you will say to yourself, oh my God, like I would be so stupid to give up on this opportunity because everyone else around me is just like, are you freaking crazy to say no to this? Or the fear of missing out, or anything that, everything that people around you may try to brainwash you. But then is your soul. Your soul will scream to you. And I started being sick. I started just I could no longer avoid my soul. My soul was really screaming at me like, Anna, this is not your path. Yes, it looks amazing on the outside, but this is not your path. And so, as usual, I took I listened to the instructions of my soul, and in the past I may have override that with my mind. I may have override that with my fears, with the obligation of having to be on a predictable path, or doing things because this is the right way, or all that nonsense chatter and narratives that are keeping people stuck inside of a predictable bubble. So, right. Now, on the other side of the collective, the other half, let's call it like that, it is about abusive relationships, narcissistic abusive relationships. Now, why on earth would you stay inside of a narcissistic abusive relationship? When you know that God put you here to have love, and unconditional love, that you're worthy of it. Well, just like the Matrix and the whole system has really weakened the power and the masculine energy for many of us, the same way happened for the masculine collective. Those of you who resonate with being mostly in your masculine energy, it weakened your feminine energy. And by it, I mean the Jezebel spirit, the narcissist. Maybe I'm talking about a lot of abuse, emotional abuse in your family, relatives, people around you. The society is really there to emasculate men. I mean, let's face it. And just being under the influence of the devil's energy, okay, through just the money system, sexual distortions, addictions, everything that is related to the sacral chakra, to the emotional, to the emotions. Okay, so I repeat, for the feminines, it has mostly been the root chakra, which was the survival. For the masculines, it has mostly been the sacral, meaning because they are programmed from a very young age, and I mean historically, to not care about that stuff. This is an agenda, and I want you to pay very, very close attention. This is an agenda, because when something is telling you, oh, you don't need to carry about that, it means that you give your control, you give your power over something, which is your emotional world, to someone else. And that someone else can be the dark feminine, okay? It can be just the consumerism agenda. It can be entertainment. It can be just anything that uses manipulation, okay? The manipulation agenda. I repeat, for the feminines has mostly been fear and attack. For the masculines has mostly been manipulation. Right. So this enters into your system from a very young age, and you giving your power away to these agendas, to these influences, becomes familiar, becomes a normal way of being. And this familiarity will pull you back. And this is how you have been, when I say your feminine energy has been weakened, it means your ability to connect with your emotions and your ability to connect with your soul and honor your soul over external agendas. And your soul, aka your inner child, your joy, your creativity. So you have become a machine for others, who's providing whatever it is that you're providing to others. And the only way that you can break out of it is really healing that deep core wound that you had from a very young age, that has made you believe that you're only worthy if you're useful, that you're only worthy if you are of benefit to other agendas that use this feedback mechanism of just feeling worthy because you have a certain status. You feel worthy because you are of value to someone, but that someone is just not giving in return the kind of things that your soul truly desires, needs, and is worthy of. But you stay there because there are perceived benefits. And let's talk about the perceived benefits. These can be the familiarity. This can be comfort, which is the devil's agenda. This can be not having to face your truth, not having to heal, right? It's when you go on the path of true love and true partnership, that takes a lot of integrity. That it takes a real masculine energy and a real man of honor to be with a true divine feminine. And God will just not allow anyone just anyone to be with unless you're impeccable. So if most men nowadays are just simply they don't inspire safety and they don't inspire trust. Because if they are not in integrity with their own soul, they cannot be trusted. Unless a man is in impeccable connection with Source and with God, and he follows his own truth, he cannot. You cannot trust him. So this is the kind of radically honest conversation that we need to start having. It is because we have been conditioned under I call it the meh agenda. It's like, it's not, we don't have any benefits in the world to be pure. Like, being pure, like what? I don't want to live as a monk, or I don't want to live as a, how do you call those? I don't have the the word right now, but it's that agenda of disrespecting God, disrespecting purity, is the devil's agenda, because anything that is not pure is dark, it's tainted, it's the devil. So no, the new earth really is all about that, really is all about honoring God, honoring source, and no longer investing into those low vibrational agendas that have you play, that have you just completely ignore your divine essence and just become some sort of toy to external agendas. It is disgusting. And the reason why I talk about energetics is because unless you really see beyond and behind the perceived benefits of these agendas, you're going to be stuck. And inside of a narcissistic relationship is, well, not having to take back control over your life, having someone else just boss you around, rule you, and tell you what to do, which, feels comfortable to your ego, or maybe it makes you look good in the eyes of others, but inside you're just miserable. Or whatever the perceived benefits may be, what makes you come back to narcissistic relationships. But that is the only reason, is because you already have a program running inside you from a very young age, maybe from a very strong feminine presence that you grew up around, where you were constantly being overpowered by, or giving away your power to. So today's conversation was really all about the shiny perceived benefits of the devil and the illusions, and you as a light worker, as a light warrior, as a star ambassador, you are not part of that world. So you gotta come back to the truth of who you are, and you gotta really shake off all those negative agendas off your system, reprogram your mind for safety, for for power, taking your power back and really standing in your truth, and no longer being swayed by these agendas. These are active agendas that are out there, but if you constantly give your power away and you choose them over God, of course you're going to be looping inside of just feeling miserable, inside of contexts that will entrap you. This is entrapment. It's not being free. If you're following the light, you are free. So no, you won't have benefits in the world. You will look like an outcast. You will look like a weirdo. You will look like you will not, fit in. And that is freaking awesome. That is utter freedom. When your soul is free, nothing else matters. And that's when you can magnetize and meet people who are also free. Because if they're not, they're going to keep imposing their own limitations onto you. And you're going to keep stuck in low vibrational energies and agendas. So, dear one, please look beyond the fears, look beyond the agenda, look beyond the programming. These are simply programs that have energetically been inside of your system that you need to detoxify out of. You need to release those energetic hooks from your system so that you can be free, that you can take your power back out of those systems, that you can reconnect back to your star family, to your soul, to God. And that's when you will know your path, and that's when you will be safe under God's protection and under the light. Because if you operate from fear, and if you think think that, oh my God, if I'm not under the matrix, then how am I going to live my life? Oh my God, if I'm not under these dark feminine influences, I don't know what's going to happen, because, it's going to be different for all of you, but they use manipulation techniques that install fear in you, or that either seduce you or install fear. It's just, you gotta be a mind, or you gotta be really just take back control over your mind. Because if you're easily conditioned, it's like, I don't want to use this analogy of dogs, but it really kind of is, because you can very much make a dog, like you can install fear into a dog and it can become very dangerous. Whereas you can also train them with love and kindness and compassion, but that's very different. But when someone is just like constantly receiving fear treatment and manipulation techniques, they become someone they're not. And this is what you need to detoxify out of. And if you need help with that, you can reach out for a quantum healing shamanic session with me. Everything is down below. Or if you know that you are 100% ready to step into your new earth purpose, then I'm going to invite you to apply for the New Earth Visionaries mentorship, where we work more closely with all these energy hooks that you need to free yourself from the matrix, just from anything that is trying to influence you and sway you off your path. So we do healing work, we do deep energetic work, as well as guidance and how to gain clarity over, okay, what is my purpose? Now, even if you're like, okay, I'm out of the matrix, or I'm out of these systems, or I've cleared my karma, then what? So there are two components of that as well. Anyway, so that is the message of today. I know it's a very charged one, but I mean, it had to come out. And these are the kind of conversations that will start becoming more and more out there, because in the age of Aquarius, just nothing can be, everything will be exposed. Nothing can be in the shadows anymore, because we're just blasted with so much light, and the light will start just bust all these devil's agendas and everything that is based on darkness. So the end goal is freedom, soul freedom. And this is what we came here to do, dear ones. So I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for you listening to this episode. I know it's not a conversation for just anyone. So if you are listening to this, and if you have endured all these tough pills up until now, just know that you are equipped with so much more than you may be conditioned to believe you are right now. And you really are a very important part of the ascension of Mother Gaia and the creation of the new earth. And you're not alone in this. We are this is a master plan. This is a beautiful divine orchestration. We are here to help each other, and we are here to free ourselves first and foremost. And we are really just at the beginning, just at the dawn of this new beautiful era. The past is behind us. Karmic cycles have ended, and we're just dealing with the last beats of freaking trials. But you have everything that you need to release yourself from. So I'm sending you so much love, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care, and bye for now.